So I've been playing my PlayStation 5 a lot lately, and let me tell you, these DualSense controllers, like I love this one because I love Spider-Man, but these DualSense controllers have no battery life. They last for like 4 to maybe 5 hours, and I don't even have all the features on. I turn adaptive triggers off, like, you know, immediately on every single game that I play. But I do like the haptics because that's part of the immersive quality of the PS5. That's like one of my favorite things about the PS5. In fact, when I did my PS5 remote player video, that was the main thing that sold me on the Portal. I did end up taking the Portal back because, like the conclusion I came to in that video, as a thing for its bang for your buck, I feel like the Backbone, unless you need the haptics, the Backbone or the Steam Deck, if you have one, is going to do just as good of a job. It just doesn't have the haptic feedback, which, you know, if you are wanting that immersive quality, then you'll want to go with that. But these things have been bugging me because there was a thing a couple months back where there was like this listing on Best Buy with a new and improved battery life. And it absolutely just stuck out to me. I was like, man, to get better battery, I'm going to have to buy a new DualSense, and those are $70. This one was $80 because it's Spider-Man, right? They had to pay for the licensing, and so they charge you the extra 10 bucks. I didn't want to do that, and especially because like I have the cool Spider-Man one, right? And I have my other one's purple. I love it. And, you know, I wanted to find an alternative to that. I thought maybe I'll find like a scuff, but none of those have the haptic feedback, right? And the DualSense Edge, that's another like, you know, what, $200? And that one even has less battery life from what I hear. So what was the solution? Well, the solution I found on Amazon was just these guys. This is about 4,000 milliamp hour battery. The one that comes in the PlayStation 5 controllers, the DualSense controllers by default, is a 1,560 milliamp hour battery, right? So that's what it's rated for in terms of its battery capacity. And like I said, that gives me around, I don't know, 4 to 5 hours on a charge. But these guys are rated 3,900 and I believe 80. Let me double check. Yes, 3,980. So that is just about 2.5 times as long, right? So I was hoping that this would, you know, work pretty well. And I actually changed out the one in my purple controller the other day because the purple controller, you know, is a little older, so that battery was starting to degrade. This Spider-Man one has been lasting a little longer. But I switched out these batteries just a few days ago, and in the purple one, and I'm just charging it today. I switched it out 3 days ago. Total, I put about, over the last 3 days, like 10 to 11 hours, and I'd only gone down to, on the battery meter, so that I had one of the battery bars left, which means I probably had another 4 hours of charge, you know, because it didn't even hit the, hey, your battery is low thing yet. These batteries are incredible. Now, these batteries do come 2-to-a-pack on Amazon, or you can get them 1-to-a-pack if you only have one controller. But if you have two, I'd absolutely recommend getting two. These batteries are actually relatively easy to change, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. They're Haisuan, I believe, and I believe they are just manufactured in China, just like the batteries that are in there. With this, it does sync up. It fits right in the battery slot, particularly this one that I'll leave a link to down in the description. You want to use this because this fits perfectly. It doesn't require you putting like a little sticky pad to make it stick like some of the other battery alternatives that you'll find on Amazon, because they're a little smaller than the DualSense shape. But really, this is just a couple simple steps for making sure that your battery is changed and that you have to charge probably 1/3 as often as you do now. So we're going to talk about this today. I'm going to show you how to open up one of these controllers. I did it on the purple one first outside to get the testing on how long the battery is going to last. But now I'm going to show you opening up the Spider-Man one. I'll show you the stuff that the thing comes with. And if you have other concerns or you just want a kit to work on your electronics, I'll show you what I use, because the kit that comes with it is not terrible, but it also was not particularly great. Let's take a look at getting this thing open and what the battery pack comes with. The battery pack does come with this little orange screwdriver, which is nice. It even has a little thing so you can put it in your palm and do the whole, you know, put it in and turn it while you still have this part right? It doesn't do that super well. It's kind of sticks a little bit, not terribly, but. And then it comes with one of these. This is a little pry tool, right? A plastic pry tool. Now, I don't recommend actually using this one because if you notice, just getting the other controller, this one broke. There's a big chunk missing out of this. If you can see it, right? That part right there just broke off when I had to like shake it out of the controller. I have this, another kit from Amazon. It's the Strabito. I don't know how you pronounce that. Strabito, whatever. It's a nice little tech kit. It's kind of like a budget iFixit kit. So it's got a lot of the stuff that you would find, and it even has its own pry tool that I'm going to use because it's a little thicker. One of the things I do recommend, if you're like me, I don't have nails. One, because I play guitar, and two, because I have, anxiety that causes me to bite my nails. But getting this part off, if you don't have nails, can be pretty tricky, right? So one of the other things you can use is this kit will come with one of these. Now, actually, on the first one, I just had a guitar pick laying here, right? As you can probably see, I have one right here. I have another one here, and this is the one I used. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're doing this kind of deconstruction of your controller, and you want to be careful with this front plate. We're going to talk, there's a couple parts you really want to be careful with. This front plate, we're going to want to get under here and just get the edge up like that. Now, if you notice, I've popped the edge up, and again, I'm using the pick. Now, let's say I want to use this thing that comes with the tool. If you get any kind of little thing that'll get under there, I feel like this should work as well because it's about the size of the pick, but let me get a better angle on it here. So that under there and pop that out as well. Very easy. Boom. Now this little front part you do want to be careful with. So once you get these corners up, you want to very carefully run your fingers along and just slowly kind of get it out of there, right? All the way up. And then you want to do the same thing on the other side. Place even pressure on both sides. It's very simple. Now, once we kind of get it all the way up here, notice how this is coming off here now. The sticks have sunk in because this is actually coming up. And we're going to lift this up, boom, towards here and keep that angle. And while we do that, we're going to pull it down this way so that these two guys right here come out without breaking. Okay. Now, this is all one piece. If you absolutely need to, you can buy a replacement version of these. They sell these on Amazon. So you can do different colors too. Let's say you want to do this and you want to replace this with like the very deep blue from Spider-Man. You could do that and then you'd have all three colors on there. Lots of places sell replacements to those. May not have may not have the Sony seal of approval, but a lot of places sell those. Now, we take this off because we have some screws here. There's one on each side. Boom and boom. And right now we're going to kind of not pay attention to those. What we're going to do next is we're going to go to our shoulder buttons, and we need to remove the front two to get to the next two screws. So all we do is we're going to lower one. We're going to take our pry tool, get it under there, and then just gently kind of get this button off. And what you want to do is you want to put your thumb on top so that when you pull it off, it doesn't go flying across the room. And boom, that button came out of there real easy. Okay. Next one, same exact thing. Put your thumb on the top. Just pop it out. Boom. Easy. Very, very easy. Now, we have the other two screws exposed. Keep in mind that these ones do come at a very particular angle. So when you put these back in, this is one of the things that kind of tripped me up when I took the other one apart. Kind of weirded me out for a minute. I was like, wait, why are these not going in? They go in at a very odd angle, right? It's a very steep angle. Kind of like about here, so you want to pay attention to that. Now you do want to be careful. Let me just double check. It looks like this should be the right size, but maybe it's a little too big. But now all I'm going to do is just take my screwdriver, get these out of here, and we're just going to take all four out. You want to be very careful. These are small. You do not want to lose them. These also, notice, go in a little bit more of a sharp angle, but it's pretty easy to not mess this one up. And we'll get this fourth one out, and there's all four. So now that we've got all four out, right, we've got the casing kind of where we want it. So what we do is now we are going to take our pry tool again, right? And this is another little tricky part. It kind of feels weird when you first do it, but don't worry too much. You're gonna just want to pull these edges up, right? Notice I can now pull that edge up. You want to do that on both sides. Make sure that those edges are at least starting to come up a little bit, right? And what we're gonna do after that is we're gonna take our pry tool and work it all the way up and kind of get it so these come out, and you want to work it so that it's doing that. Oh, forgive me. There are a couple little clips here, right here. It's kind of hard to see them. It's the black on black. Let me see if I can get my phone light out. Maybe get a little more light. That might help. Right. So there are little clips that you can kind of see there, and I'll point to them. One is right here. One is right here. You want to gently pull those up and out. And I probably should have said that beforehand. So we can use our pry tool, go in, and we just want to just very, very little bit get them so that we feel them come undone. Just be very gentle, because this is the part that can break, these little clips here. In fact, I did some damage to my purple one. It's not broken, but it's very visibly warped now. That's not the end of the world, but you know, you want to keep your stuff as nice as you can keep it. Now there, I just barely raised this one off, and that's exactly what we need to do. And we're going to do the same thing here. Just barely raise it off so that when it comes time to get these off all the way, we can have that done. And it looks like, there we go. So I've got those off now. Now we're going to go back to the pry tool on the side, right? We want to work this all the way up. And when we do, we should be able to get it kind of up here. And then we really want to start pushing out. And I may have to go the other way like this. And this one's being kind of stubborn. It might be because it's newer. I mean, I've never taken the old one off, but if worst case scenario, I need a thinner pry tool, I can use the one that came with it. I did end up using that one eventually, but should be able to. There we go. We start to hear it clicking. That's what we want to hear. Okay. And now this one over here, same thing. And even this pry tool is getting a little warped. These PlayStation DualSense controllers are actually made very, very well. They're made very solid. So we can go up here, get it all the way up, get it in there. Don't worry, you're very unlikely to break this thing, I would say. Notice those little clips now, this right here and this right here, are fully separated. And that's exactly what we want. This one I think is undone. So now we kind of got that, and all we need to do now is we need to just make sure. I feel like it's not all the way undone, so I'm going to try one more time. And let me use the other tool just in case. Just in case that one's too thick, and it might be. We'll get this here. Yeah, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that little click. It tells us it's getting released. And we'll go to the other side just to make sure. One thing you will see when you're doing this is if you play your controller a lot, you're going to see like some stuff come out of these grooves. And what that is just, you know, everyone's hands. And I tell my guitar students this all the time, and I try not to make anybody feel offended. Like everybody's hands have oils and stuff on them. And when you're playing, like especially if it's warm, you're sweating, so oils are going to come off onto your controller. It's nothing that you do, you just wipe down your controller. But it's hard to get into the crevices unless you actually take the controller apart. This one is being very stubborn. My last one came off pretty easy. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got one side. I guess just took a little bit of gumption. So you do want to make sure with this, you do kind of pull it out. So if that happens to you where it gets stuck, right? This one got stuck a little bit. What you can do is you can just pull it out. And when I pulled it out, I wanted to make sure I'm pulling from the bottom edge out this way, because that lets the controller get around these shoulder buttons without any issue. Now, sorry about the delay. Hopefully James can cut around that. James, thank you so much if you do that for me, man. Appreciate you. Now we do have our battery here, and this is very, very simple. Once we've got this, we want to take note that the black cord is facing the top of the controller. Now with these batteries, it's actually very easy. You can get a pair of needle nose, right, and pull them out. Or if you grab right by the base of the wires and gently tug back and forth like this, the battery connector should just come right out of there. Do not just jerk it. Make sure you pull back and forth slowly and pull as you're kind of making its way out. Now, these connectors can only go in one way, right? So we want to pay attention to that. This battery here, the reason I also bought this, like I said, was that it's the exact same size as the PlayStation 1, right? So this new one is gonna fit right in there. And we have those 3-pin connectors. It's kind of hard to see. This thing doesn't really have a good autofocus or anything, this camera, or I don't know how to set it up. But what we can do then is we simply go and we push this connector in, leave the battery out of it first while you push the connector in. Once you get the connector in like that, bing, bang, boom, you're done. Then you just set the battery in. Try and tuck these wires back as much as you can, maybe down into the controller there, right? And then we're just gonna do everything we just did in reverse. So we're gonna put this back on, right? And again, we wanna put it back so that the top kind of goes in at this angle, right? And we should hear everything click back when we kind of give it a little pressure. Don't do anything too crazy, but you wanna sort of get it fitted in first. Oop. I may have done it. There we go. So I want to get it up over and then kind of fitted back there. Boom, starting to click in nice and tight again. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get these sides all in. Okay. Now we've got that. Okay. So once you're done with that, you should, in theory, be able to get these and make sure these are pressed. You heard that click, I assume. If you didn't, there was a big loud click right there. That's one of the ways you can go, is you just squeeze around the whole parts of where everything came off, make sure it clicks into place. One of the things I didn't do is click everything into place the first time. So when I put it on the charging stand, I stood it wasn't charging. I thought, oh, maybe these batteries don't support that kind of charging. No, I just didn't. I just didn't click it as much as I needed to. Now we've got that back in, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our screws back in, easy peasy. And this screwdriver that does come with it is magnetized, so it'll help you get these screws back in. Remember, these ones are gonna go like at a flat angle, right? Because they're connecting to the front panel. And you'll feel the case kind of like wiggle a little bit as you do this, right? Because the screw is gonna go in and catch on the other side. And then it's gonna pull it nice and tight as you tighten it back. And again, once you do that, just press into that like this, right? Make sure that that connection is solid. And we'll do the same with the other 4 screws, or excuse me, other 3 screws. Now on this one, remember, this is gonna go in at that odd angle. It's like this, right? It's like a diagonal angle, and then you wanna screw it in. You should see it catch when you do it right. You try and do it straight down or straight back and forth like the other side where it kind of went like this, right? Or like this. It's not gonna work. So we'll put the last one in now. Now we've got all the screws back in, so we have to make sure we replace the last few plastic parts. We're gonna go again with the shoulder buttons. The shoulder buttons should just come in. You just find there's like a little slot for them. If you notice, there's a little slot here, right there. You can kind of see it. And then there's this little ridge on the inside of the button. That should go in that little slot. And once you line it up, they just push right back in. It's pretty great. Ooh. Boom. And then same thing, opposite side. It's easy to tell which button is which because they are labeled R1 and L1. Boom. Push that back in. Okay. We've almost got the whole thing back in. Now remember, with this last plastic piece is the easiest piece to break, except for these tabs, which I'm going to push down. Now that I'm reminding myself, just make sure these are fully. Okay. Now we got that pressed in. We'll do it with this as well, just to make sure. Boom. Okay, now with this, easiest part to break, like I said, outside of maybe those tabs, we're going to set it in like this first. Get these two little prongs in these areas right here. Right, and then once we've got those in there, we're going to push it in as we get it down so that it kind of slides in. Boom, boom, boom. Should feel it kind of slide into place as they go down. There it goes, and you heard it kind of click. Now you start to see that this, okay, this is starting to look how it was. One of the things that took me off guard is this is a little offset. Like this plastic piece that we just put in is a little lower than this. When I took apart the purple one, I saw this, I was like, oh, did I mess that up? And I looked at this one that I hadn't taken apart, and it looks exactly like this, right? So it's hard, it's very hard to see, but this is a little higher than this little plastic part that we just put back in. Now we slowly, again, evenly place pressure down as we go down. Boom, easy. And here you can just use your thumb, push, and then push that down. Push this whole thing, and then boom. Notice how that clicked up a little more. We want to just make sure we do that over the whole thing. And boom, now I have a new, brand new, like 12 to 14 hour battery charge for my Spider-Man DualSense 5. And this thing looks good as new. It even looks better because it doesn't have all that crap in the grooves where my hands sit normally. This is one of the best upgrades you can do for your DualSense controllers. I highly recommend it if you're a person who doesn't want to do like the extension battery pack that sits on your controller and adds weight. These orange batteries are the same exact weight as these gray ones, right? Same size, same weight. They just hold 2.5 times as much charge. And the crazy thing about this is that these things are such a huge upgrade, these batteries, but they're only, I think, $27, $28 maybe for two. That was two. So instead of having to buy a brand new DualSense where you were paying $70 because your battery's just not holding a charge anymore, oh, I gotta get a new controller. No, just take the time. I mean, you watch this whole video, cut down this whole video before James cuts it down is a half hour. That includes all the stuff we talked about before and me kind of leisurely doing this slowly to show you how to do it on the video, right? So it's worth it for you to take 20 minutes and save yourself a ton of money. If you have two controllers and they're both not holding charges anymore, this is a way to bring new life into them for under 30 bucks. And I highly recommend it. Now I can play a couple days on my Spider-Man controller before I have to charge it. A couple days on my purple controller, which is my other favorite controller, before I have to charge it. And, you know, that's the cheapest and easiest upgrade you're going to find for your DualSense controllers. And if you're a PlayStation enthusiast like me, this is one of the best upgrades I've made. And I've just played a couple days in a row without having to charge my purple one. It was nice. Just put it on my desk right beside my bed, and boom, it's there. Pick it up for a couple days in a row, and then finally I was like, okay, well, it's been like 12 hours about, and it's down to the last third of the battery, so I'll just put it on the charger now. And I figured I'd show you guys this one. But hey, guys, if you watch this, let me know what you think. Is this an upgrade you're gonna pick up for your DualSense controllers? Because I would say it's absolutely worth it. Like I said, I'm someone who's all about keeping things as cheap as possible and getting the most out of your money, right? If you got controllers that are losing battery power that only hold like 3-hour charges, 2-hour charges now, because I've heard people say that their original DualSense have that. This is the way. Just learn to do this. This is a very simple, video. Even though I had trouble with that case, kind of got stuck. Took me an extra minute or two, but in the end came out, and now boom, back together, good as new. I'm gonna make sure this is fully charged. My other one I think is fully charged now, and I gotta get back on playing Remake before Rebirth comes out, because that's gonna be a cool game, man. These Final Fantasy remakes rather are really, really hip. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this battery swap and this upgrade for your DualSense down in the comments. Again, I'm Little Bobby. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Stay frugal, guys. Stay frugal, okay?